So I guess here's the fundamental question I'm asking. And maybe I have an answer as well, but the question I have is, the Bible says, I'm the Lord, I change not. Okay, God doesn't change. Fair enough. But how can God, who does not change, have two testaments? An Old Testament, whereby he did things his way, and a New Testament, whereby he does things his way. When it, he, I guess he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law, right? So it's kind of strange, the Old Testament and the New Testament, because you look at it and you're like, it's completely different. The Old Testament's completely different than the New Testament, but it's the same God, right? Well, he didn't come to abolish the law, so he didn't come to abolish the Old Testament. He came to fulfill the Old Testament. It's like, okay. So basically, he just did it all to say that he's God. I did the Old Testament. I did the New Testament. I gave my son on the cross to die, to say that I am God. I guess it's kind of like, my question was, if God doesn't change, how can there be an Old and a New Testament, right? That was the question I was asking. And I guess, to answer myself, it's like, well, there's a interesting verse that someone pointed out to me one time. It said, before the earth was formed, there were waters, hovering over the waters. Look up that verse, which to me meant that God didn't create water. Which, whatever. I'm not getting into the details of that. You should look at it. I'm not getting into the details of that. But let's just assume God created water, right, and the hover above the water. I'm not getting into that. Well, the Old Testament and the New Testament, to me, it's like, well, if God created water and then God turned water into wine, he didn't nullify the creation of water. He said, let there be, there's, the Bible doesn't say let there be water, but, there's water, then they turned it into wine. So maybe that's kind of the way the Old Testament and the New Testament are, because it's kind of confusing to me when it says, I'm the Lord, I change not. But there's an Old Testament and a New Testament, and they're completely different. But Christ came to fulfill the law, so I guess that's the difference. He fulfilled the Old Testament.